I, 34M, always thought my life with Liam, 35M, was pretty straightforward. Good jobs, nice apartment, weekend hikes, the usual. We've been together 5 years, married for 2. Solid. Or so I believed. About 3 months ago, Liam sat me down. He was pale, hands shaking. Looked like he'd seen a ghost. Liam, Marcus, there's something I should have told you a long time ago, before we even got serious. My gut clenched. Cheating? Debt? Secret kid? My mind raced. Me? Okay, Liam. Whatever it is, we can talk about it. Try to keep my voice even. He took a deep breath. Before I met you, before this life, I worked for an organization. Not a normal one. The organization was called Aegis Corporation. We dealt with things. Sensitive situations. Globally. They called us facilitators there. I just stared. Facilitators? Aegis Corp? Like spies. The words felt ridiculous coming out of my mouth. Liam, essentially. Yes, I was a field operative. I retired about 7 years ago. Clean break. New identity, the works. Liam Hayes isn't even the name I was born with. My brain felt like it was short-circuiting. 15 years of my own past in a very similar, yet rival, facilitator group, the Sentinel Initiative, flashed before my eyes. I'd buried Operative Thorne deep. Marcus Thorne was who I was now, a data analyst for a logistics company. A boring, wonderfully normal life. Me, retired? Completely? My voice was oddly calm. Surface-level calm. Anyway, inside, it was a different story. Liam, yes. They assured me. No loose ends. But Marcus, the reason I'm telling you now, I think something's wrong. I've seen someone. Someone from before. He looked terrified. Please, you can't tell anyone. Not a soul. My life, our life could depend on it. I looked at Liam, my husband, this man I thought I knew. Aegis Corporation. The name was familiar. A major player in the clandestine world, often at odds with my own former group, the Sentinel Initiative. It didn't matter right then. His fear was the immediate concern. I filed the connection away. In that moment, all my old protocols, the ones I thought were long dormant, flickered back to life. He just handed me a grenade and asked me to admire the pin. My reply, understood. Your secret's safe with me. Then, practicality took over. He set the terms, secrecy. Okay. I didn't press him for more details about Aegis Corp right then. His immediate terror was the priority. What mattered was the potential threat. My old training was screaming. Assess, analyze, neutralize. But I was Marcus now, not Thorne. I nodded, offered comfort, and filed it away. For about a week. Update 1. The ghost appears. Life got tense. Liam was jumpy, checking locks, looking over his shoulder. He started sleeping badly. I tried to be the supportive husband, but every instinct I had was on high alert. I started subtly varying my routes to work, observing patterns, old habits dying hard. Then, about 2 weeks after his confession, she made her presence known. We were at a local farmer's market. Liam suddenly froze, dropping a bag of apples. His face went white. Liam, whispering, "It's her. Serafina. Don't look." Naturally, I discreetly scanned. Across the square, a woman with fiery red hair, sharp suit, sunglasses despite the overcast day. She wasn't looking at us. She was observing, calmly, like a predator sizing up prey. She felt familiar, in the way a viper feels familiar if you've studied them. Serafina Volkov, top-tier operative for Blackwood Syndicate, one of Aegis Corp's, and by extension, the Sentinel Initiative's most ruthless competitors back in the day. If she was here, it wasn't for the organic kale. Liam started rambling. She was my direct adversary on my last assignment. The one that made me quit. I thought she was dealt with. Me? Dealt with how? I kept my voice low, steering him away. Liam, Aegis said they handled it. Permanent sanction. Permanent sanction usually meant one thing. Clearly, Aegis had dropped the ball, or Serafina was a lot harder to kill than they figured. Or worse, someone wanted her active. Over the next few days, Serafina didn't approach. But she was there. A glimpse in a crowd, a car that passed a little too often. Classic intimidation. Liam was unraveling. He called an old Aegis contact, a guy named Silas. Liam, on the phone, hushed, frantic, "Silas, it's me. Kodak Nightingale. She's here. Serafina. Yes, that's Serafina. What do you mean? Monitor the situation? She's not a situation. She's a goddamn Qley's alpha threat. I need extraction. Support. Pause. Then Liam's face fell. Liam, budget cuts? Resource reallocation? Are you kidding me? I gave 10 years to Aegis. He hung up, furious. They said they'd log the report. Basically, I'm on my own. The sheer entitlement from Silas and Aegis Corporation. A loyal operative begs for help, and they talk about budget cuts. Predictable. They probably figured Liam was burned, no longer an asset, just a liability. Liam's sister, Qley, came over a few days later. Liam had clearly told her some version, probably heavily edited. Qley, Marcus, Liam told me he's in some kind of trouble from an old business dispute. He seems terrified. You need to get him out of here. Take him somewhere safe. What kind of husband are you if you can't protect him? Her tone was accusatory, like this was somehow my fault for not having a private jet ready. Me? Qley, I understand you're worried. We're looking at options. Qley, options? He needs safety, not options. He said you were being strangely calm about all this. Almost detached. Don't you care? Detached? Oh, if she only knew. The old Thorn was very much awake, running scenarios. But Marcus had to play the concerned, slightly overwhelmed husband. The revenge here wasn't on Liam, but the situation Serafina created and the cold dismissal from Aegis needed a firm, calculated response. Update 2, lines crossed, masks off. Serafina escalated. Subtlety went out the window. One evening, we came home to find our apartment door unlocked. Not forced unlocked. Nothing was taken. But on the coffee table was a single, dead nightingale. Liam's old Aegis call sign. A very clear, very personal message. Liam completely lost it. Panic attack. Hyperventilating. Liam, she was in here, Marcus. In our home. She could have killed us. Me. She could have. But she didn't. This is psychological. She's trying to break you. My own apartment, my sanctuary breached. That crossed a line. Thorn was itching to take over. The next day, Liam got an email. It was from Serafina. A video. It showed me, Marcus, going into my boring data analyst job. Then it showed me leaving, but the footage was manipulated to make it look like I was meeting with shady people, exchanging packages. Deep fake, but a decent one. The email text. Your new life is fragile, Nightingale. So, is your little birds. Cooperate, and maybe he doesn't get tangled in your old messes. Deny me, and I'll make sure his wings are clipped. Permanently. I want the Caspian dossier. You know the one. Liam stared at the screen, aghast. The Caspian dossier? That was my last job. It was supposed to be destroyed. How does she even know about you, about your work? Me. She's resourceful. Understatement of the year. Liam. She's going to ruin you, Marcus. To get to me, we need to give it to her. Me. Give her a highly classified intelligence file that could destabilize entire regions? Not an option, Liam. Liam. Then what? Aegis won't help. My old friend, Javier, who also left Aegis, said they're treating all ex-ops like pariahs now, blaming budget shortfalls. He said Silas even implied I might be colluding with Serafina. Javier's entitlement was clear. He expected loyalty from an agency that had already written them off. This was it. Serafina was threatening my meticulously crafted civilian life, threatening me to control Liam. She was using Marcus to get to Nightingale. Big mistake. She had no idea who Marcus really was. Time to remove the mask. Me, Liam. What do you know about the Sentinel Initiative? Liam, distracted, panicked, Sentinel? Rival PMC to Aegis. Ruthless. Efficient. What? Me. Because for 15 years, I was one of their top deep cover operatives. Codename, Thorn. My specialization was counterintelligence and threat neutralization. Specifically, operatives like Serafina. Liam's jaw didn't just drop. It practically hit the floor. He stared at me as if I'd grown a second head. Liam, you're a Sentinel? Marcus, the guy who alphabetizes the spice rack and thinks suspense is waiting for the kettle to boil. Me, the same. And Serafina isn't just your old nemesis anymore, Liam. She just made herself mine. I saw a flicker of something in his eyes. Confusion, fear, but also a tiny spark of hope. Liam, but how? Why didn't you say anything? Me. Same reason as you, I imagine. That life, it's meant to stay buried. You asked for secrecy, I respected that. Now, tell me everything you know about the Caspin dossier and Serafina's last known protocols. The shift in the room was palpable. Liam, the terrified ex-agent, looked at Marcus, his unassuming husband, who was now calmly discussing operational tactics like he was planning a grocery list. Over the next few hours, Thorne took the lead. I used my old, encrypted channels, surprisingly still accessible with a bit of digital persuasion, to pull any recent intel on Serafina and Blackwood Syndicate. Turns out, Blackwood was fracturing. Serafina was likely rogue, trying to secure the Caspin dossier as leverage or a payday. My plan was simple. Use Serafina's aggression and her underestimation of Marcus against her. I arranged a drop for the fake dossier, choosing a location with specific environmental factors I could use. I let Liam accidentally reveal the location via an insecure call I knew Serafina would be monitoring. Classic bait. The meet was set for an abandoned industrial bakery on the outskirts of the city. Lots of metal, interference, and predictable entry/exit points. Liam was safely stashed, protesting but ultimately trusting me. He was still trying to reconcile Marcus the data analyst with Thorne the operative. Serafina arrived, not alone. Two heavies, entitled as ever, expecting a scared little husband. Serafina, Marcus, isn't it? Liam sends his errand boy. Where's the dossier? Me, right here. I held up a briefcase. But first a question. Why the dramatics? The dead bird? The threats? You could have just asked nicely. She laughed. Where's the fun in that? Besides, fear is a better motivator. Me, sometimes. Sometimes it just pisses off the wrong people. As her heavies moved to flank me, I triggered a localized EMP I planted earlier, a small, repurposed device from my Sentinel days. Lights flickered, their comms died. In the disorienting pulse, I moved. It wasn't a Hollywood fight scene. It was quick, brutal, efficient. Sentinel training was about ending threats, not drawing them out. Her heavies were down, disarmed, and incapacitated with pressure point strikes before they knew what hit them. Serafina, surprised, pulled a sidearm. You're not just an errand boy. Me, never was. I didn't carry a weapon. My tools were information and precision. I used the environment, a pre-loosened shelving unit crashing down to distract her as I closed the distance. The fight was short. She was good, but Thorne was better in close quarters when the objective was capture, not elimination. I disarmed her, a specific Sentinel takedown that temporarily paralyzed her right arm. Within minutes, Serafina Volkov, Qley's alpha threat, was zip-tied and furious. Me, Blackwood Syndicate is falling apart, Serafina. Your old bosses are looking for scapegoats. An unauthorized operation using a deep-faked video to threaten a civilian connected to a rival operative? That won't look good on your resume when they catch up to you. And they will. I've already made an anonymous tip to a certain interested party within Blackwood who's very keen on internal cleansing. Her face went pale. I not only neutralized her, but set her own people against her. That's the Sentinel way. Turn the enemy's strength into their weakness. I made another call, this time to a very specific, very deniable law enforcement contact I still maintained, a relic from a past favor. Anonymous tip. Armed fugitive, wanted for international corporate espionage, located at the old Millside Bakery. Handle with care. She's a biter. I left Serafina for them to find. No loose ends on my side. Final update. The new normal. The aftermath was quiet. Serafina was picked up. Her being rogue, plus the internal power struggles at Blackwood, meant she disappeared into the system. The threat was gone. The real storm was in my apartment. Liam was waiting, pacing. He looked at me like he'd never seen me before. Liam, who are you, Marcus? Or is it Thorne? What else haven't you told me? The hurt and confusion in his voice were raw. Me, Marcus Thorne is who I am. Thorne was a role I played, just like Nightingale was for you. I sat down. No more secrets. I retired from Sentinel 2 years before I met you. I wanted a normal life. I found it with you. Liam, normal? You took down 3 armed operatives like you were, taking out the trash. You have hidden EMPs? You know how to paralyze people. Me old skills. I hoped I'd never need them again. I told him everything. My recruitment, my operations, my reasons for leaving Sentinel, the same burnout, the same desire for peace that he'd experienced with Aegis. Liam was silent for a long time. He got up, walked to the window. Liam, so our entire marriage, it's been 2 ex-spies, living a lie, pretending to be normal? Me? It wasn't a lie, Liam. My feelings for you, the life we built, that was always real. The only thing not real was my stated profession on our tax returns. He laughed, a dry, humorless sound. My husband, the data analyst who can disarm a trained killer with his bare hands. And I thought I had the complicated past. Qley called Liam later that week, after hearing some garbled version that Liam was okay and the business dispute was resolved. Qley, over speakerphone, her voice dripping with suspicion. Liam, are you sure you're all right? Marcus isn't. I don't know, controlling you or something. That whole situation was bizarre, and he was so odd about it. Liam, Qley, it's fine. Marcus handled it, in his own way. He looked at me, a new understanding in his eyes. We're both fine. Even Silas from Aegis Corp sent a curt, encrypted message to Liam's old handler email. Nightingale, threat designated Serafina, appears neutralized by unknown local assets. Consider your file conditionally closed. Don't contact us again. The sheer audacity, taking credit or trying to wash their hands of it without even knowing what truly happened. Typical. The revenge wasn't on Liam. The true consequences were faced by Serafina, her career over, likely imprisoned or worse by her own former employers. Aegis Corp faced the consequence of their incompetence being bailed out by an unknown factor, leaving them clueless. Liam faced the consequence of his past catching up and the shattering of his reality about who he married. He had demanded secrecy for his past, and I had honored it perhaps too well. Now, he had to process my past. It's been a month since then. Things are different. The fear is gone, replaced by a wary, fragile honesty. Liam looks at me differently. Not with fear, but with a kind of awe and a lot of questions. We talk more really talk, about the shadows we both try to leave behind. He admitted he felt a strange sense of relief. I always felt like I was the damaged one, the one with the baggage. Knowing you had your own, it's like we're finally on equal footing, even if that footing is on a retired battlefield. There's no more hiding. The peace I have now isn't the manufactured piece of a civilian identity. It's the hard-won piece of shared truth, however dangerous that truth once was. Our life isn't normal anymore, but maybe, just maybe it's more real. We're still figuring out who Marcus and Liam are when you factor in Thorn and Nightingale. It's a work in progress, but for the first time, it feels like our work together. He's still baffled. I actually enjoy alphabetizing the spice rack. Some things, even for retired super spies, remain sacred.